All right, protesters are done playing with the Department of Environmental Protection.
Great sec.
That's for sure. You're welcome. Community members gathered at the entrance of Anastasia State Park in St. Augustine on Sunday morning to protest and make a stand against the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's statewide Great Outdoors Initiative. This is just so counterintuitive to what it seems like the goal of the Environmental Protection Department's stance is. This is all just so confusing to me every step of the way. And if there weren't so many news stories about it, I would almost believe it wasn't even real.
Right.
It's just so counterintuitive to what they say their mission. I just don't get it. The proposed plan, which we've talked about, talks about a 350-room lodge, disc golf course, pickleball courts inside the park. But, I think one story said over 100 people. I think it was closer to 1,000 people that were out there.
There were a lot of people.
They were way over 100.
Way over 100, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were lined up across the road from the skate park that's out there on Anastasia Island almost to the first entrance of the amphitheater.
Yeah.
I mean, there were tons of people out there. Very passionate people out there. And it was a great showing of, you know what I noticed, and it was said a lot out there. And our friend Kate Batzel pointed this out to me, actually. And she said, and you could notice this just by walking around. There's people of all political persuasions out there that are very, very passionate about protecting our parks. I mean, it was one of the only times you're going to see people that are hardcore Republicans and hardcore Democrats out there on the same battlefield, man. And I think I love that. I loved seeing, that unity between people. It was very, very good.
Let me take your love even higher, because you needed to research like all the other state parks that had protests going on too. Yeah. There were maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe a dozen in Fort Lauderdale. Nobody showed up like our community showed up. That was badass, really.
It was huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was nice talking to her, and one thing she said to me was, and I agree, that Republicans and Democrats agree on a lot more than people think they do. When you really start talking to people, I think they really agree on a lot more than people think. We pretend that the folks in D.C. who say they're speaking for all Republicans or all Democrats are really not in many cases. So.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah. I mean, I like things that bring people together.
Me too.
I really do. From all sides of the aisle, I like when people can stand next to each other and fight for the same cause.
That's why I live here.
Yeah.
Because I believe in this community. And we don't let anybody dictate our narrative on who we're going to be as humans. We lead with our heart and our minds, and I think that's what makes us extraordinary.
Yeah, it is really cool. It is very unique, for sure.
Yeah, and I've always been beat up for being that guy that floats in the middle. But both sides have great ideas.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone always agrees, that means only one person's thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
And we need all the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And, I think most people want the same thing. They want the freedom to live their lives the way they want to live their lives. I mean, that's something that everybody can agree on. I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. And you want to do the same thing. People want what's best for our kids. People want clean food and clean water. I mean, there's a lot that we agree on, but people get stuck on the stuff we don't agree on.
Yeah.
We all want to be safe. We all want to, we want our families to get a good education. I mean,
And sometimes we have disagreements on the process of getting there. Mm-hmm. But if we could come together more and discuss it and find good middle ground and good common ground that works for everybody, that's possible.
Absolutely.
But we're just so scared to do it sometimes, man.
Mm-hmm.
So just that side of this story is what I like the most. It really is. Now the state apparently has scheduled meetings. They had scheduled meetings, but those meetings apparently were postponed. There was a leaked memo revealed.
Saw that, yeah.
First Coast News was reporting this from the Office of Park Planning that apparently at these meetings, and people were right to be suspicious because this leaked document reveals that they were instructed to basically at these meetings play a pre-recorded presentation, and there was going to be no time for input. That it was just basically to get people acclimated to this being about to happen. It was not a question and answer. It was not a back and forth. A pre-recorded minutes, and that's just lazy. And that just says that
no respect.
They wanted to no respect. They wanted to ram this through. They weren't really concerned what the public was going to say until the public showed out in force. And it's so funny how they worded this. If you guys saw the memo that came out from the Department of Environmental Protection, where they said, due to overwhelming interest, we have decided to postpone these meetings. It's not overwhelming interest, you assholes.
Yeah, really.
Sorry for the language.
No, but true.
But it's just so deceptive that it pisses me off.
Yeah,
it really is. It was overwhelming outrage, is what it was. People were not interested in this. People were outraged that it was happening. And for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to say, due to overwhelming interest, like it was something that everybody really wanted to show up and support, and they were interested in learning more.
No.
They didn't care about learning more. People didn't care. They learned all they needed to learn, and they were not happy with it.
I can tell you this. I have 5 or 6 friends that do not go to these public. They hate these public meetings and stuff like that. It's like, hey, what time is it? I'm going to go there with you, and they were already prepared to go. And these are people that usually are not involved. They're usually the ones that go, hey, what's going on? I don't like it. But they don't really voice. I mean,
show up,
Not everybody voices. I mean, they voice with their vote. But not everyone voices it the exact same way. And this one, it was like, hey, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And that shows you how strongly this affected our community.
Yeah, definitely, man. People do not here in St. Johns County want to see this happening at our state parks, and they don't want to see it happening at the state parks across the state of Florida. And again, for this to be a Department of Environmental Protection initiative, this reeks of corruption. I mean, it really, really does. It's just very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. And, a lot of people pointing fingers this way and that. And I don't know how much involvement the governor has with it. From when we talked to Dylan Rumrell, it seemed, correct me if I'm wrong, but he seemed like the governor didn't even know much about it.
Yeah, and then I got other information. It's like, it's under the governor's, direct. I mean, the FDEP is under the governor directly. Okay, who's doing that reporting? I mean, this is a military guy.
Yeah,
there's a chain of how did he not get this information?
Right.
I don't understand that. So.
Yeah.
But how do you guys feel about this on a whole? Like, after talking to Mayor Rumrell, I felt more confident that this is going to get squashed. Is that true? Do you guys still feel that way?
Yeah, I think there's that sentiment there on the beach that we still have some control over it. There's that sentiment coming from the county.
City, yeah.
Well, the city, there's a sentiment coming from the city of, hey, let's wait and see what the proposal is. I don't really like that. I think your people have spoken to you at the city. They don't want it. So why don't we for once represent the damn people of the city of St. Augustine?
It was a little lukewarm.
It was lukewarm and kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
That was just one of 5 that made that comment.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
That was on the city's official Facebook page and Instagram.
Yeah. So
which would make you think it was all of them. I hope
it seemed apathetic. It definitely seems.
I can tell you the others do not feel that same way.
Okay,
right.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
and, I like that.
And I can tell you, speaking to a representative from the House at the state and the Senate at the state, I can't see this happening. They both were very outraged that they got to see it at the same time the public did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, what? They literally saw it at the same time we did.
Yeah.
So,
which should not happen at a level like that. It really, like you said, Troy, chain of command, there's something way off here. Something way off here.
I don't think they realize how much of a PR nightmare this is for them.
They do now.
Yeah.
David, did you see this? Is it real they're putting a carousel out there?
I don't know. You should do some investigative reporting there, sir. Yeah, this is your moment.
You saw that, right?
I'm seeing it in comments. I am seeing it there.
The thing is, if they were putting a carousel out there, people would love to support it. People have just changed their whole minds. They love carousels. They love hopping on things that go nowhere 2 miles an hour.
They moved it from the roundabout.
The city does have a meeting, and it was quietly put out there that about the artwork installation is tonight at 5. for the city.
garden.
Yeah, I'm feeling like there was so much eruption over this like parks moment. They're like, ooh, this is our opportunity. Like, we're going to talk about this. Yeah.
Slide in.
But yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, like politically and the government, and yeah, it's just. Oh, I wanted to ask you, Troy, when you talked about the dream home months ago, and you said that we own the bottoms, does that equate with this? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, because that goes out to the ocean. The intercoastal portion is the part that's within the city limits. That
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Now I
city,
understand.
that the city owns.
Dang it! I thought that argument would work.
Yeah, so at least the good news is now it seems like the House, the Senate doesn't like this here in the state of Florida, and at least the county and the beach are saying we're very hesitant to approve a permit for this. So that's a good start. It does not seem like this has many legs to run on, but however, anything could happen. I mean, it doesn't mean people need to let off the gas. I mean, people I think need to keep this same passion until this project is absolutely squashed.
Yeah,
and that's around the entire state of Florida.
And follow Dylan Rumwell he's got a great message, and it was a great positive message, and just making people do the right choices. He was a great follow over the weekend to find out what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. He's on it. He was one of the first to be on it, and he's definitely been on it ever since.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
and he's also. I mean, it's a twofold for him. I mean, because the amphitheater, he's president of that nonprofit also.
Right.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
so he's president of that foundation also. So I mean, it's doubly affecting his position. So he's really got to keep his eye on the ball with that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So and he will be.
Yes.